This is Mordad 13. The date is, I don't know, maybe the 28th or something? Maybe 28th of November. It's getting pretty close to payday, and that's all I really care about. Yep. This is kind of a special video, I think, because you're going to notice it's probably pretty dark out right now, but in the next 10 minutes or so, the sun's going to come up. So I'm awake during sunrise. I don't normally get up quite this early, but I do get up fairly early on most days. I get up around, I try to get up around 6, but I usually get up around 6:30. I rarely get up after 7 o'clock. It's usually before 7. These people that you keep seeing are elderly people. In Taiwan, and I guess most of Asia, old people, they wake up every day at like 4, 5 in the morning, and they start exercising. Like pretty much every single one of them. I live beside a large park, as most of you know, and if I were to ride around that park right now, there's literally like probably close to 100 people that are all over 70 years old, like just walking around it. They don't really jog, they just walk, and most of them clap their hands while they walk. I don't know if that's a Taiwanese thing or what, but they walk and clap their hands. I guess just to give their hands something to do or help circulation in their arms. I don't know. But I find that Asian people, they're right about a lot of things that Westerners just don't know. So, for example, like when I first moved to Asia, when I first moved to Taiwan, I'd be like eating something, and then I'd be having like a hamburger and a Slurpee, and then the Taiwanese people would be like, "Oh no, you can't do that. The Slurpee is cold, and the burger is hot, and if you have hot and cold things at the same time in your stomach, it will give you great pains and blah blah blah." And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I've been drinking Slurpees and burgers my whole fucking life. Like, that's what I grew up on, you know? Like, pizza pops and Slurpees, pizza and Slurpees, burgers and Slurpees. I grew up on hot things and Slurpees. You know, maybe it hurts you guys' stomachs, but it doesn't hurt my stomach, so just be quiet. So then the next thing I do, I eat the burger, I drink the Slurpee, and 10 minutes later, I got stomach pains and diarrhea. And then I'm like, what? Then I realized that probably my whole life, when I've had a Slurpee and a hot burger, I've probably had stomach pains like 10-15 minutes later and just never connected it, never realized that it was in fact mixing hot and cold that was giving me the stomach cramps. So it was kind of interesting, it made me realize so from then on out, when Chinese people gave certain advice, I'd give it some thought. But sometimes they take it to the extreme. Because like in Western society, even we know that you shouldn't like have a shower and then go out on a cold day without getting dried off, because it increases your chances of getting a cold. But the Taiwanese people, they take it to the freaking extreme, which is a little bit silly. For example, I'll be at like school and I'll be washing my hands, and a kid will walk by and I'll flick a little bit of water on them, and then and then the co-teacher will say, "Oh, don't do that. It will make him sick." Oh, what do you mean to make him sick? He will catch a cold because it's wet. I'm like, it's fucking like 2 drops of water. 2 drops of water isn't going to give anybody a cold. And I'm pretty sure I'm right about that one. Okay, I'm not gonna believe that 2 drops of water on their forehead is going to give them pneumonia. And it is starting to rain, and that kind of sucks, because the plan was to ride until the sun came up, so you'd actually be able to see the difference in like color between my videos. Mind you, I'm heading towards the mountains. The mountains have denser cloud cover than the other direction. Maybe if I just turn around and head away from the mountains, then I'll be okay. Yeah, let's do that. Ooh, bumpy U-turn. Kind of neat though. I don't know if you can see in the distance there's a car there, but right up here there's a white line in the sky, and underneath the white line there's like a dark line, and the dark line is the mountains. and the white line is the clouds getting lit up by the sun rising on the opposite side of the mountains. On this side I live on the west side of the island, so I don't get to watch sunrises. Because the sun rises on the opposite side of the mountains. I get to watch the sun coming up over the top of the mountains, which is also cool. But, yeah, I get to watch sunsets on the ocean and sunrises from the mountains. And it's a little chilly. But it's great waking up early. I highly suggest it to everyone, especially for motorcyclists. You know, if you're a scooter rider or a motorcycle rider and you like to tour. Like, anytime I go for a long trip, the longest trip you can pretty much do in Taiwan is to Kending, which is like the southern tip of the island. It's a national park. It's gorgeous there. And I'll go there about once a year. Try to go there once a year. And when I ride my scooter there or take my motorcycle there, I'll leave my house at like 6 in the morning or earlier if I can, like 5:30 or something. And that way, when I start my ride, the sun's going up, and you can do the ride in probably about 9 or 10 hours if you really pushed it. On average, I do it in 12 because I bring my dog usually, so I'll stop a bit more than other people. And every time I've done the trip, and I've done it about 8 times, every time I do the trip, I get lost for about I get lost for about an hour. I'd say an hour to 2. So you pretty much have to expect that, count on it. And that's not my fault. That's you get roads that aren't marked. You get a road like this, and this is say this is the number 20 road or whatever. This is the number 20. So I'm on the number 20, and then it will come to like a dead end, and then maybe it'll continue on straight. It'll pretty much a dead end, and then it'll continue on straight, but it's just like a tiny little road, and there might be a little tiny little road going off to the left and a tiny road going off to the right. And then, so I have no idea which way to go, so I just go straight, because that, seems to be the right direction. And then later on, I go, 3-4 more miles down, and then it comes to a complete dead end. So then I got to double back, and I get back to that same intersection, and then I'm like, I still don't know which way to go. So I double back more, and then I see spray painted on one of these cement pillars here, underneath this bridge, spray painted, detour, number 20, turn right. So I get to a 3-way intersection with no markings whatsoever, but the only marking was spray painted on a wall 20 feet back that I was supposed to somehow notice, and therefore figure out where to turn. So stuff like that, and then that'll cost me time, and that'll happen once or twice on the trip, because you get poorly marked roads and stuff, and it doesn't help that I can't read Chinese. Yep. But the great thing about it is, if it's a 12-hour trip and you leave at 6 in the morning, then when you leave, it's light out, and when you arrive, it's still light out. You ride for 12 hours straight, and it never gets dark, and that's an awesome thing. Riding at night is so much more tiring than riding during the day. Your concentration level is so much higher. And if you're riding in a group, being the first person in the group is way more tiring than following. I found that out when I was going to Kending, and I was leading the whole way because I have the most experience, and then I had other people following me. And then once it came, we left too late, and no, we didn't leave too late. We just decided to take the long way there, and the long way there, instead of being 12 hours, was 18 or 20 or something. Because we decided to take mountain roads all the way to the southern tip. So yeah, we're in the mountains, and we're looking for a hotel or something to sleep at, and it's nighttime. And it was too much for me. I said to the guy, "This is I've had it. We gotta sleep or something." And he's like, "What?" And the guy that was following me kind of pissed me off, because he's like, "What do you mean sleep? I'm so fine. I could go for a few more hours and blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "Yeah, well, you fucking try being in the lead." So he's like, "Okay, I'll take the lead." So he goes in front, and then I follow him. And following him was no problem, because he's in the lead. He has to worry about setting the speed for the corners and that, and I just have to match his speed. I didn't probably not the best way to ride. You should think for yourself with regards to handling corners and whatnot. But nonetheless, I just let him worry about setting the pace, and I just matched his, and all I had to worry about pretty much was his tail light, and that was a lot easier. We rode for a few more hours, and I didn't feel tired anymore. It was just the stress of being in the lead on mountain roads at night where there's the roads aren't lit up, so the only thing you got is your headlight, and you got to you're watching out for everything. And plus, when I'm behind him, I have his headlight lighting up the road as well as my own. Like, I have mine lighting up the road all the way to him, and then his lighting up the road, the same distance in front. So it doubles my vision following, which makes it just feel safer because I can see so much more of the road. It's chilly.